Miss Erika Michael, Erika, for the record. Tell us, how do you feel today?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No. Kind of, I don't know, anxious.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you excited to go home?
Yeah and no.
Yeah.
It'll be good to get home, see some people again, but there'll definitely be things I miss about here.
What do you miss the most, do you think?
What I miss the most? I think just the daily fellowship, just always knowing you're surrounded by other Christians and knowing that if you have a struggle, you can definitely talk to them and let them know, and just know that you'll immediately almost have a group of people praying for you and just helping you through your struggles. And I don't know, just the sharing with everybody's been really refreshing.
What would you say one of your biggest challenges has been this month in Namibia?
Biggest challenge, I think, has just been letting God work in me. One thing that I shared with some of the girls at one point in time was just that one of the reasons I think God brought me here this month is because back home I am busy all the time and I constantly have my schedule and I'm running here and there, and I don't always give God time, the kind of time that I should to really work and change the things in me that He's trying to change. So just being here this month and pretty much being focused completely on Him and His will has definitely made me, I guess, open my heart to Him and the changes that He's been trying to make, and allowing Him to make those changes, just because it's not always easy, I don't think, to let those changes be made. So,
do you think it'll be a challenge taking those changes back to America?
Yes, honestly. Like, I'd like to be like, no, it'll be easy, no problem. But yeah, there'll definitely be changes that'll be hard to take back.
In what ways do you think you've seen God teach you to trust Him more on this trip?
God teaching me to trust Him started a little bit before this trip.
Yeah.
Kind of actually started, I guess, even before I even thought about going on this trip, just with dropping out of ROTC and then it just constantly learning to trust in Him, like taking that first step then constantly just putting that faith in Him now is just like kind of being like, okay, so what's the next step and what's the next step? And so then God saying, I want you to go to Namibia for a month this summer is kind of like, all right, why do you want me to go? I think sometimes it's easy to find myself questioning why He wants me to do things, and just one thing I've learned about this trip is just not to question why so much. It's just to be like, okay, God, You said it, I'll do it. So I think that was a big thing.
So do you feel like you know why, or are you just trusting?
Like why I'm here, or?
Yeah.
Well, I think one reason kind of why I'm here, like I said before, is just to allow Him to work in my heart, to be able to focus on Him and get the focus off me and my selfishness that I have at times. But other than that, I really don't know why. It is just kind of trusting Him, like why for this month He wanted me here and why I'm still uncertain about so many things back home. So there's kind of a little bit of an answer, and still kind of just the faith.
It's good to be uncertain. It means anything can happen.
Yeah.
Do you have any open-ended, any thoughts you want to share about this trip in general, or the team, or any experiences?
Oh boy. I guess one thing that was a frustrating part of the trip for me, maybe, that the end of it just kind of turned out cool, was in Burundu, when you just kind of kept going back to some of the classes over and over again. And there was one day when there's a class that Siku was my partner, that we had gone to one day, and like it was really awesome. We were really excited about the class, and then the next day we went back and it was like an absolutely horrible class and like just completely different from the day before, and it was really discouraging. And then the final day that we were there, we had like, I didn't want to go back. I was just like, if there's that class again, don't put me in that class. I don't want to go back. But then sure enough, the last day, like I guess a bunch of the teachers didn't show up, and so we had to be in some of the classes all day. And that was the class that we ended up in, was this class that I did not want to end up in. But I think it was totally a God thing, because if I had left without going back to that class, like it ended up really well. It was a fun day. Like we kind of went over some of the gospel and just asked them questions again, but then it was just a fun time to kind of get to know them more. So I definitely left the classroom on a much better note with that class. And if I'd left without going back to that class, my heart definitely would have been in the right place, and it's probably a regret that I would have had from this trip. So
awesome. Well, thank you very much.